What up, Suns fans? Suns get win number 3 in a row and improve their record to 46-31 on the season. And we'll talk about it all and more in just a second.
Personally, I feel like that brother needed help.
Oh boy. What a win. If you're a Suns fan tonight, you have something to celebrate. This is a quality, well, quality might not be the right word, but it's a much needed win. Okay? But before we dive in, just a quick note, little side note. Kyle's gone again. I usually have a co-host here, but he is gone. He went to the movies, I think. But what he didn't know is that I also went to the movies tonight, because what I saw in that first quarter was a masterpiece. Absolute cinema. Okay? Suns, if you don't know what I'm referring to, Suns to open this first quarter went on a 13-0 run. It was perfect. And especially during a crazy matchup like this. All right? Timberwolves are not something to be messed with. They're a first seed for a reason. They've been fighting for the first seed for like the whole second half of the season. They have been the first seed for like the whole season. Okay? And you don't just win against the number one rated defense in the whole league. What we saw from the Suns tonight were absolute playoff basketball. Just locked in, everything working for them, shots going in, and perfect defense. Right? That's all culminated in Suns just starting off this game so hot. It was perfect. Oh boy. Speaking of perfect, Beal was so good this game. I've been waiting for a Beal game. I think we all been waiting for a Beal game. Uh, Beal has been kind of like the third option, as all of us Suns fans know, he's been the third option here. Not that much opportunities to score, right? Because Booker and KD are our scorers. But Beal really got to see some time tonight, as he went perfect. I don't have it in my notes here, but he was perfect from the field until I think like the second quarter. Just great overall effort from him, right? Put up 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He unfortunately he couldn't keep it. We had to ice him out a little on the bench because he got in a little foul trouble. So that was a little unfortunate. In fact, foul trouble was quite a huge problem this game for both sides. It really kept this game from being a domination. Definitely Timberwolves had multiple chances to come back tonight, right? Because some of our most important players were getting fouled a whole bunch. Nurkic had 5 fouls in the third quarter, right? I was so nervous sitting in that third quarter. In fact, in general, I was so nervous for this game because of how big it is, right? Suns need to keep winning here to hold on to the sixth, to the sixth seed here. So I was already quite nervous from the get go, just watching this game, waiting for it to all blow up, but it never happened. Such a great effort, such a great team effort from the whole team, right? I mentioned Beal, KD. He put up 22 points again, 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Book, he eventually had to come down from freaking uh, his 90-point effort over the last 2 games, but he also contributed his 13 points and 13 assists. I didn't even see that. But he was also playing great defense on Anthony Edwards, right? There's just some things you can never see on box scores. They all played a great part, and Grayson Allen as well. Just 23 points, 4 of 8 from 3. It was perfect. It was all perfect. Nurkic even had his 15 rebounds. Man. And, this game got kind of slow. At the third quarter, I think all the defense had just burnt out both of these teams, because Minnesota was so cold during this whole game. They ended the night shooting 38% from the field, only 34% from 3. Right? I think by halftime they were shooting like 50%, and that's the only thing keeping them in the game. But for the most part, they were just so cold. Some of that was in what was because of the Suns playing good defense, but also some of that was just like taking tough shots and none of them going in, right? And it heavily affected the team, right? Anthony Edwards, who's been on a shooting slump, that was addressed pre-game here from Minnesota's head coach. I actually don't know his name, but he was asked about Anthony Edwards' shooting slump. But Suns took away his confidence. Anthony Edwards multiple times tried to get something going with either a dunk, a 3, and every time Suns were always there to answer. Just a great overall effort. Now, as good of a game I've been hyping this up, as there were still a few smudges. And I guess that's what happens when you face the number 1 defense, right? 18 turnovers. Yikes. Some of them were because of the Wolves, like getting some nice some steals. But also some of them were just Suns being Suns, Bad passes to Eubanks. Jeez. I don't even want to talk about Eubanks. But also some of them were just guys losing the ball. Whether that be Booker, Beal. I mean, Booker had 7 turnovers, but that was just really bad. And then, also foul trouble. That held a lot on this game with how players were to perform. Like, it was just looking at the final numbers here, something happened. Like, you don't just have any night where both teams almost committed a combined 40 turnovers and then both sides averaging like 30% shooting. It was a bloodbath. And this comes back to my point saying this was a quality win. Although quality is still not the right word for it, it was more of an ugly win, but a win Suns need. All right? Because quite hugely, another factor to why this is such a big game for the Suns, and probably why I was so nervous during this, is that prior Kings, who were, I think, half a game away from us on the standings, they faced Boston today. And that one actually kind of came down to the wire. That was so close. but Kings ended up losing, only sending them back further in the standings. So, oh my God. Okay. I didn't even see this, but Kings now have a 44, are now 44 and 33 on the season. That is the exact same record as the LA Lakers. This West, man. There's no room for breathing, dude. Jeez, what the heck? And also quite bigly, um, Pelicans. They played the San Antonio Spurs and lost. Who loses to the San Antonio Spurs? Can't be me. It can't be me. We're back. We're back. We don't care at this point. We take and we don't let go now. Okay? So with Pelicans and Kings losing tonight, it gives us some breathing space, right? Because now Pelicans are a game behind and Kings are 2 games behind. So Suns definitely now have a little more leeway when holding on to 6th place. Now, also, there is 2 other games that could have helped the Suns. Mavericks were facing the Warriors tonight, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have Luka. I am 90% sure they didn't have Luka. Yeah, they didn't have Luka. And Warriors still lost. Sure, they still had Kyrie, but like without Luka, come on, Warriors. The dynasty's dead. Okay, Curry can't shake the league anymore. I could say this because Suns won the season series. Read them and weep, boys. Easy victory. But since Mavericks won that, they're still a game ahead of us. And actually, I think the Clippers and Jazz game just wrapped up as of recording this, and yeah, Clippers blew them out. That's crazy. So just overall, a really good night for the Suns. Okay, we're sleeping well tonight, but it's not over yet. As Suns have one more home game. Never mind, that's wrong. They have 2 more home games. Next, we're inviting the Pelicans once again over for our home in Phoenix. Honestly, just take care of business of that one. Hopefully, another Booker huge game, because if he scores another 50, that's just crazy. I don't know what Booker has against those Pelicans, but hopefully another large effort from him. That one's on Sunday, so 2 days later, and then we have a 2-game series, 2-game back-to-back against LA. Now, I'm kind of mixed on this one because LA has been both kind of good and also been kind of bad. They were kind of on a skid for a second there, but it looks like with Nuggets winning that last game yesterday, which actually I was really curious about that game. I spent my valuable time watching that game just to watch Aaron Gordon choke in real time. That one was bad. And then also them just blowing out Jazz today. So I actually really don't know about that game. I believe Kyle said that he'd be fine splitting that series, that 2-game back-to-back. And yeah, I'll definitely take that one. It, now it's kind of well, it's really just a wait and see because I'm not too sure about that game ourselves. And then we have Sacramento. Sacramento's falling apart right now, right? They had to face who they just faced. They faced was it the Thunder? They faced somebody recently, and then they faced the Celtics today. So pretty rough 2 game stretch, and then they have to face us in a couple days. Feeling pretty confident about that one. And then Minnesota, well, we won the season series tonight. So I mean, I think we might lose that one, only because of rests. Since that one is the last game of the season, I could see us probably resting KD, Book, and Beal. Kind of like what we did last year against Clippers. But yeah. Also, there's only 5 games left in the series or in the season left. And if you've been following the Suns everywhere and watching some of these national television games that we've had, you've heard them all say constantly that the Suns have the toughest remaining schedule in like the past decade or something. Like since the MJ Bulls or something. But we're halfway done with that last 10 with these last 10. And we're currently 4 of 1. 4 of 1 against one of our toughest schedules. If that's not something to get excited about, I don't know what is. A lot of people coming into the season, a lot of haters have been hating on the Suns. Like, oh, hey, you got to play defense, right? Defense wins championships, is what everyone says. But we just held the number 1 defense in the league to under 90 points. Granted, we didn't score that much either, but Minnesota never led this game. There was never a single moment where Minnesota had led this game. And anytime they got close, it was a 10-point deficit. This might be it. This is where we might finally see the Suns put it all together. All right. Now, I think quick notes here. I don't think me and Kyle mentioned it last post-game interview, but me and Kyle like to play prediction games, and for this last 10, we said a honest 5 of 5 that the Suns would go 5-5 because we're coming off of a really bad and a really annoying Spurs loss. But here we are, 4 of 1, like halfway through this last 10. And honestly, if we could go another 4 of 1 in this next last 5, right? Because Pelicans, we could beat them. We know this. We could do that. Minnesota, we know we can beat them. We can do that. Sacramento, right? If we want to bring up season series, we won the season series against New Orleans, I think. We won the season series today against Minnesota. We could beat these guys. Sacramento, because of the in-season shenanigans, we're facing them like 5 times this season. But it's currently tied. The season series is currently tied. But we can beat them. I'm feeling confident about that one, even though it's at Sacramento. LA is the only questionable one. Like I said, we're currently 0-2 against that season series. So that one might be a little iffy. But all this to say, if we go like 4-1 or like 3-2 in the next 5, we're good. Right? That's like a guaranteed 6th seed. This team is now locked in. We've seen it. We just got to keep going with it. And that is really exciting. So, that will do it for today's episode. We'll be back here Sunday when Suns take on the Pelicans. That one's quite early for some reason, 3 p.m. So we'll be there covering that game for whatever monstrosity the Suns got cooking up. And yeah, if you haven't noticed, what? I'm choking here. Okay. Yeah, that will do it for today's episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys next time on Sunday. And go Suns!